welcome again, and I'm very happy to, maybe not to see you, but that you managed somehow to join, miraculously join the webinar. For those who stay until the end, we will be doing EFT tapping, which is, for me, it's the most fun part of this meeting. I enjoy it tremendously. But to let you know that you are in the right place if you are looking to explore and allow more abundance in your life. So this is the right place for it. If you are fed up with scarcity mentality and poverty mindset, I call it, so this is the place, and I'm going to explore this into detail. And for people who are interested in meditation or visualization or the work of Abraham Hicks and the film The Secret, but they have been disappointed, I'm going to explain why this had not worked, or, for example, that meditation does not work for a busy mind. I was one of the people who could not meditate before I met EFT. So if you are tired of exploring other venues that have not given you good results, this is the right place. A few words about me. I'm Irena Barton. I am a master EFT trainer with EFT MRA Academy, Emotional Freedom Technique, and Matrix Dream Printing. It's the academy that is organized by the most prolific EFT trainer in the world, that's Carol Dawson. I also started a charity to promote emotional freedom technique in my home country, because I am the only person in Bulgaria who has the academic certificate of the founder of EFT, that's Gary Craig. And I am Bulgarian who married a Scot some years ago, who came to Bulgaria and dragged me all the way here to Scotland. I'm currently in Scotland. I have been training people from Scotland, from all over the world, in my home country and in Scotland for the last years, for the last several years. I've been teaching EFT in Bulgaria since 2012. Last year, I published in Bulgarian the book Set Your Subconscious Mind to Abundance. It's in Bulgarian. And I've been many times on Bulgarian TV. The book is unfortunately only in Bulgarian, but I am an expert on abundance, on subconscious mind, and of course on EFT. And I have witnessed a lot of miracles, things that are really short of miracles when it comes to using EFT. I know that the group here is not particularly experienced in EFT, but these are the reviews that are on my Facebook page, coming from some lovely ladies who trained with me here in Scotland, and that are really amazed at the effectiveness of EFT. And they were saying, I can't wait to put it into practice with my clients. EFT is something that is going to change not just my life, this is what they reckon, it will change the life of people around them. So let's see what we are going to achieve today. What is abundance psychology? I'm going to explain this very briefly. I'm going to focus on how the law of attraction works, and being a skeptic, I'm going to focus on the scientific explanation. So there is a scientific explanation. Abraham Hicks, The Secret, it's all a little bit woo-woo type of thing, but I believe that, and I trust this explanation will appeal to you, the scientific explanation. And we will explore how unconscious and repetitive thoughts might affect our vibration, and practical ways to make the law of attraction work for us, so that we can erase and improve our vibration. Of course, we are going to do a tapping session, and you're very welcome to ask questions about it. So, what is abundance psychology? You see, probably you have been attracted to this webinar to understand that, to find out that abundance is not just something that happens to people who were lucky and who were born rich. No, there is something in the way our psychology works or our psyche works, and abundance psychology explores this mindset or attitude that would affect your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings and emotions, behavior and perception, and will try to shift them so that you move from the scarcity thinking and the poverty thinking into an abundant mindset, and to remove any lacks that you may be experiencing or limitation or limiting beliefs, so that you are more open to abundance and allowing abundance in your life. You will be surprised, but people do block subconsciously abundance because they relate subconsciously abundance or more money to danger and threat, sometimes to a threat to their life. So in abundance psychology, we explore the mindset and the beliefs, and we try to shift them by being more open to opening our minds to notice more opportunities, to be exploring more resources, to be more positively to more positive thinking and experiencing more positive emotions like love, joy, fulfillment, and to try to do this on a constant basis, day to day, hour to hour basis, which will eventually shift the vibration. And this is what will cause abundance to come into our life. So people may be using techniques like vision boards. And if you have been watching the film The Secret, you probably know that there were experts who were sharing some amazing stories with vision boards. And you remember John Asraf explaining how 5 years after he moved to California to his new gorgeous house and was unpacking, his son opened his vision board and said, "But Dad, what's this? This is our house." And he discovered that he had the picture of the same house that he was living in on his abundance board prepared some 5 years ago. So for those who, as like me, didn't have much success with vision boards or meditation or visualization, or affirmations that are too steep or too sounding too much for their rational mind, not true. You're very welcome, because we are going to see how this is going to shift with EFT. And I hope that we will have a lovely EFT tapping session. So this is how I use it. For me, EFT was the little miracle tool that can shift the mindset and open my mind to possibilities, to changing the vibrations, and to feel completely different in many, many aspects. But the best way to describe how I work with EFT and abundance is to give you a few case studies. For example, this is the case study of a woman who got trapped into a legal battle because she had to repay a debt that had not been incurred by herself. She had a business that had failed, and she declared bankruptcy and moved out of the premises, forgetting to disconnect the name from the bills for electricity, water, etc. Meanwhile, the owner of the property died, and there was a new owner who discovered that there are bills that are still connected to her name. And while she was trying to negotiate or to explaining that these were not bills that had been created by herself, unfortunately, there were interest that had been accrued, and she accumulated some 36,000 euros in her case. So she was, by that time, she contacted me because she felt absolutely drained. Her finances had been drained by lawyers. She was stonewalled by the authorities. She was emotionally and physically exhausted. She was developing an illness, a physical illness, because she was absolutely drained by the fighting against the authorities and this unfairness that had happened. She had no social life. And she spent a fortune, as you can imagine, paying to lawyers and looking for solutions. But there was no chance for her to cancel or to get rid of the debt. So We worked on her feeling of powerlessness and many other emotions that would come in this absolutely hopeless situation that she was in. We discovered that she was following a model of scarcity in her own family. Not just that, but her own family had a similar injustice, and they had been fighting, having legal battles over decades, trying to overturn some unfairness in their life. She attended both my seminars about the abundance activation, also the money seminar of workshops, the EFT-based workshops, and she also had private sessions. The moment she shifted her focus, the money just started flowing in. And she had plenty of earnings and all the new clients coming in. She was in so much demand. She was a consultant, but she couldn't take all the business, so she had to refer them to her colleagues. And after repaying the debt, she still had plenty of money, so she made some savings. In the process, she had been looking for someone to operate on her and on her illness. The doctors, however, were asking some very high prices. So she had to go private. She had an open mind, and she came across a person who recommended the best specialist. And she was taken by him in a state hospital, and she had much better treatment for half the money, less than half the money. So in general, she was really, what she was saying was that it all came effortlessly. Plus, she was much more emotionally stable. Her relationships improved. And in general, she was now ready to allow someone else in her life and ready for love life. I'm going to share another case study, which is about a woman who couldn't hold money physically. She had severe anxiety when it came to money, with real physical symptoms like sweating and palpitations. And she had difficulty breathing even. She explained it very simple. She explained that when she was, for example, going to the hairdresser, minutes before she was supposed to pay to the hairdresser, she would become so nervous, losing her composure because of this nervousness, whether she will, when she opened her purse, will she found the money that she had put before leaving home in her purse. There was a dramatic, actually tragic family history, because her ancestors, the previous generations, were very well off. They were rich and well educated, but got stripped off of all wealth and privileges when the communist regime came in power in Bulgaria. So in her family, to be financially abundant, to be rich, was life-threatening. She's a therapist, and because of this horrible, dramatic response to money and abundance, she was unable to ask for pay. She was unable to state her prices, and also she was unable to plan any financial issues that were all left to her husband, who was doing the financial issues in the family. The result after our work was her physical symptoms disappeared, and she became much more composed, much more at ease when it came to money. She became much more confident when it came to money, and was now capable of stating her prices or asking for money. In general, she improved her relationships and felt really, really completely different person after the work. This is someone who attended just one seminar, but she'd been following my videos in Bulgarian, in YouTube, and in Facebook Lives. So this is the wife, the widow, I should say, of a wealthy businessman, successful businessman. He died suddenly of a massive heart attack. And overnight, she had to deal not only with the family crisis, with the loss of a loved one, but she was having to look after young children and also with the business. The business was full on. Her husband had contracts. He had a lot of processing facilities, storing facilities. He was in the business of buying and selling wheat. And so he had contracts for buying and selling, and he also had huge loans to the banks. They were bridging loans because in agriculture, the harvest is at what time comes at one time, but the purchase is at different. She had to face the counterparties of her husband, late husband, who were all men, businessmen, and they were having this condescending attitude towards her, really patronizing and telling her off, really, putting her off. And she felt seriously intimidated, but she was pushed by the loans and the repayments that she had to make. So she had to enter into the deals. And there was one particular case of a sale of commercial property that she managed to sell at 5 times higher price than the initial negotiations. She was over the moon. She was ecstatic. And honestly, I was with her, ecstatic too. She was also saying that she really loved the way I teach EFT and show EFT. So a lot of people just fell for made EFT part of their everyday life. And this is exactly what I encourage people to do, because it really helps them self-regulate and improve the quality of their life. When I discovered EFT some 15 years ago, I was still in banking, but particularly abundance was the area that really inspired me. And I'm going to invite you to consider and to try to honestly answer those questions. Can you have abundance if you think that it is not possible for you? Do you think that you can have abundance if you, on some level, think that you don't deserve it?
Big no.
Would you be able to live an abundant life if you feel like a failure or not worth it? Or if you feel like a victim?
No and again no, because if you don't believe it both consciously and subconsciously, you're gonna attract the opposite, scarcity, poverty, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. Yes, if we keep the victim mentality, we are not open. We are not working together with the universe or with this big consciousness. If you are not believing in the universe as a big consciousness, can you be abundant? If you are not ready to make some changes, whether in your life, whether in yourself, maybe even with the people that you mingle with, maybe change some of your habits or your behaviors. I did some unconscious, undeliberate manifestations simply because in my previous days, I learned Silver Method.
Oh, the mind control method.
Yeah, Silver Method for mind control. This is a method where you envision, you have a sacred place that you visit in your sort of meditative state, and you can invite advisors, or you can arrange it. It's like a room, and you can arrange it the way you like. And I created it very beautiful with beautiful furniture, beautiful colors, not just on the walls, but colors on the windows. I had colored windows, and it was only after I decorated several living rooms. At the beginning, we lived in Bulgaria with my husband. In our home, I decorated our living room in white. My office in Bulgaria was also decorated in white. My living room in our flat in Scotland in Edinburgh is also white, with white furniture, exactly the same. And it didn't dawn on me until I had my office in the Eric Liddell Centre, which is in a Reformed church with stained glass windows, very beautiful. And this is where I trained EFT to Scottish people. And I remember just coming out of the elevator, and there were these beautiful stained glass windows with Bible verses on the walls that were very inspiring. They were not from the Bible, they were probably Christian. And it dawned on me that what I had been creating in Silver Method was exactly what I was manifesting, absolutely unconsciously. But I'm sure, and I'm going to ask you later, Do you remember things that you manifested with very little effort?
Yeah.
In The Secret, the film The Secret, here is how it had been explained. We ask and we are and we'll receive, and then we must believe, and the effect will be that will be given, will manifest. And then there is universal law that same attracts the same, and it's more the law of vibration, that everything is energy, and the energy that we vibrate will attract similar people who vibrate at a similar energy, but not just people. We would attract events, we would attract opportunities, maybe we will attract chances, and people that are helping us resolve certain problems. I was one of these people who put a lot of effort, and I believe that I must do, and to operate from this mindset, work hard, receive big effect, or the result will be the result of your work. Not, I was brought up in an atheistic family, so God was not part of my world, and the universe was not a topic to be discussed at all. But I'm sure that many people can relate to this, thinking of you must put effort, you must work hard. The harder you work, the better result is. But however, when I spoke about my manifestation, which came absolutely out of nowhere, I wasn't even planning it. It was non-deliberate. There should be ways to manifest without this effort. I admit that I had been seeing this model of behavior of working hard. This is the way we've seen with our parents, probably. We would repeat simply because this is how the subconscious mind works. This is how human mind operates. We model the behavior of the people while we are growing up, and then absolutely subconsciously, we repeat the same patterns. And I have seen this many, many times in my work with EFT. People are loyal to their families, and I'm going to focus on this in the tapping. They would not dare to be richer than their parents or than their grandparents because of this innate loyalty. They will not allow themselves to earn in an easy way, simply because this is the way they learned from the previous generations. But if we go back to The Secret, the law of attraction states that we have to be in a high vibration, experiencing thankfulness, gratitude, positive emotions like love, like joy, enthusiasm, belief, just knowing that something will happen. I am the person who is very rational, and I doubt the law. However, it is possible to manifest a lot of things without the effort, but just with the intention. By being in sync with the universe, if you align your vibrations, you have an inspired intention, but you also act from a position of the highest good. You take inspired action. You follow your intuition. You feel like that you are on a mission. And when you do this, there is no doubt, there is no resistance, no negative emotion that's blocking you and saying, no, this is not possible. Or there isn't any stupid thoughts of, no, you don't deserve it. And I'm sure that you can share your experiences, that you materialize things. And for example, if you had not experienced, you had maybe wanted something to manifest and it didn't, but later on, you received something better. Has this ever happened to you? I have plenty of experiences like this. Just to give you a positive example, after working with a woman who was having all the wrong relationships with men, she was getting involved with the wrong men all the way, and she felt dreadful, unhappy, frustrated. And this is what I saw on her. I saw her, posting in Facebook beautiful pictures with her man. And I wrote to her, and she said, she had started blessing me and thanking me. And she said, I found the man, I love him, and I'm not afraid to say it. Everything is so different when you meet the right person. And once again, big thank you. So she was over the moon. Very often, when I do this work, love and abundance, material abundance, are quite equal. And they are very often people would relate love to money, because when their parents were having to earn more money and were not paying attention to them, were not giving them the love that they wanted, it's very usual that they will develop a subconscious belief that money takes away the love. And love is not possible because of money. So the money are particularly burdened with a lot of negative energy. It's not the money, it's not it. Let me ask you, why do you give up the work? Why you don't believe? Just think about it. Think why the secret didn't work for you. Did you get disappointed, for example? Did you get irritated that you're not getting what you want? Or did you get angry or discouraged or even sad that the universe didn't respond to your big desire? Did you lose hope? But there was something that was not mentioned in the film. They said nothing about the inner conflicts or the counter intentions. So consciously, we may want to grow rich or may want to have the love of our life, but subconsciously, we may not. Just like the woman that I described in the case studies, for her family, money was life-threatening. It was dangerous to be rich. It will put your life in danger. So in some cases, to be in love could be very, very similar. You will suffer, you will have emotional hurt. So these are inner conflicts that make you procrastinate. This is the first sign that there is a conflict inside of you. You may feel low energy, you will lack enthusiasm, and of course you will doubt yourself, and you will doubt others, or you will doubt the universe. Because of all this insecurity or self-doubt, you may fear to take action. Plus, you would think, why should I bother to change if I have no guarantee that it will reward me, that I will get what I'm looking for? So there is this resistance to everything new. But also there is this resistance to let go of things that we have outgrown. And I have noticed that the most difficult thing to let go are people. The moment you start changing yourself and becoming abundant in your mind, in your attitudes, the people that were around you will probably say to you, have you lost your mind? What are you thinking? On what planet do you live? Because very often these inner conflicts are due to these counter intentions or hidden subconscious beliefs that look like truth. And you will start arguing that you are on the same planet and you see opportunities where they see limitations. So when you are experiencing all these inner conflicts and procrastinate and doubt, this is the result. You give up and you revert to the default state or to the default beliefs and default actions and to the old thinking of scarcity and poverty. So let's see what we can do, or what's the science behind law of attraction. The first time I heard about reticular activation system was while I studied for my EFT Cert 1, my certification with Gary Craig. A reticular activation system is looking after what's important for you and is trying to filter it through the abundance of information that is coming through your senses, sensory input. And there is neurology that is literally looking after you so that you live the way you want. It filters this sensory information and allows only the most important. But what is the most important? This is the key. If you say that, for example, money is the root of all evil, you will never be rich, because that would mean for your subconscious mind and for your RAS that you will become a bad person. This system will bring to your attention what appeals to your values. what matches your values and what matches your real intentions, the subconscious intentions. And it's something like the Google search engine of your mind, if you can think about it. So if you are not experiencing the abundance that you want, perhaps your reticular activating system may need some adjustment. Most probably it will need adjustment. And you will have to change the values, the beliefs, the goals. If you don't make something like abundance a goal or a part of your daily routine, it will not appear. If you don't make money or love part of your daily routine, it won't appear. It will need, this reticular activation system will need to be activated. And I want you to notice the connection, because it's a bunch of nerves at the base of the skull, in the brainstem, which connects to all the senses, but very much to the visual sense. So this is the reason why the vision boards work. So even if you have your goal in writing and you look at it on a daily basis, there are very big chances that it will happen. Or if your goal is in your meditations, and if you see it, most probably you will activate your reticular activating system or readjust it. Now, I want to say a few things about the axioms of emotions, because they are important in my personal view. We can't fool our emotion. We can only suppress the emotion, and it will cost us. We may develop some physical ailment. Emotions reflect our subjective truth. That means that for us, this emotion is absolute truth. Other people may not understand it. They will never understand how you feel. So don't expect them to do so. This is your subjective truth. It is the truth about yourself, about your relationship, about the world, and how things are. But this is why EFT is so powerful here, because it can help us shift our emotions to a more positive ones. The good thing is that emotions are the language of the subconscious mind. Your mind, subconscious mind, understand images and emotions. Change your emotions, change the images with a powerful emotion, good positive emotion, and you're off. You're going to the sky. And of course, the negative emotions are an energetic resistance to the flow of the life energy. This is the reason why Esther and Jerry Hicks, who channeled the Abraham Hicks teachings, they created this emotional vibrational scale. And I made this picture, I made the picture to be in color so that you can notice the color of the positive emotions, to be joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. And also the lowest emotions I have added, it's not really an emotion, but it's a very strong desire to die, which is even lower than fear, grief, depression, and despair. And I have noticed that some people just have it.
Like being suicidal?
No, it is like, I don't want to live. I feel so desperate. I want this suffering to end. Or it would sound like I'm fed up with this life. People may not even recognize that they are suicidal, but they may have very, very negative thinking. So they live in the fear, grief, and depression. But they also have this, I can't cope with this pain anymore. And on some level, they would like life to end. And it's like a desire to die, but not conscious. And they may develop an illness. I know people who have developed illness because they have stayed in this negative emotions for too long. And if you ask people who work with the body, like kinesiologists or kinesitherapists or osteopaths, they would tell you that people store emotions in their bodies. And the moment they start working with the body, and the emotions start to be released. But we can use emotional freedom technique for it. And here it is, Tony Robbins. His picture is on the tapping solution. The tapping solution is the biggest forum, online forum. It's going at the moment, so enjoy it while it's there. Most of it had passed, but it's a wonderful place for tapping and to meet wonderful experts in EFT. But Nick Hortner, who created the tapping solution, learned about the tapping on a seminar of Tony Robbins, and Tony had been using EFT tapping for more than 20 years. He wrote on his Instagram that he starts his day and he finishes his day with EFT. And very, very quickly, I'm going to show something about the effectiveness of EFT compared to the usual psychopharmacology, that it really outweighs the effectiveness of the traditional approach to mental illness like anxiety, depression, and PTSD. The benefits are kept over time. Plus, there are biomarkers in the body, like hormone genes or brain scans, can prove that something had happened in the body because of this tapping. And the gains persist over time, and it is cost effective. And if I will make a special EFT demo just to share my passion about EFT. But for this particular meeting, I would like to just to show how to do the tapping on abundance, on the things that may be limiting our abundance. And in order to do so, I'll probably stop the presentation. I just want to show the tapping point that we usually say something as we tap the side of the hand, the karate chop point, and we state the problem on one side, but also something self-affirmative or life-affirmative. And then we do a round of tapping on the top of the head, then the beginning of the eyebrows, side of the eye, under the nose, on the chin, on the collarbone, and under the arm. I'm going to invite you to just consider for the moment how stressed you feel, just to experiment with the tapping, just to help you come to terms so that it is easier for you to learn the tapping points before we move to the abundance tapping. Just scan your body, take a deep breath, put yourself comfortably to sit in a comfortable position on a chair or wherever you are. Think about your body. It's as if you're looking inside of your body and noticing, do you have some tension when you think about the stress that you have? Do you notice any constriction in the body or some discomfort or difficulty breathing? Or usually when I teach EFT, people tell me after the tapping, they say, oh gosh, I had this cement poured into my chest or into my shoulders. So just notice what's there and rate it from 0 to 10.
I can rate it at least a 6. I feel the same, the cement or the very hard shoulders and hard back, like I'm waiting the whole world.
Okay, that's not you see, this is when we are trying to do it all by ourselves instead of allowing the universe to help us. So let's start tapping, admitting that we feel stressed. I was trying to say, rate the number, put a rating to your stress, and 10 being the top, I'm really stressed out. And 0, I'm not stressed and probably I'm semi-dead. You know, being a human means that you bear some level of stress. So notice and put the first number that comes to mind. And let's do a little tapping about the stress and about the tension. And I'm going to say all of them. Even though I feel stressed, and I notice that my body is really stressed, I accept all of my feelings. Even though I feel stressed and my body is really tense because of everything that I've experienced, I accept all of my feelings. And once more, I'm going to repeat it so that it is 3 times. Even though I feel stressed and even my body suffers from it, I accept all of me. And just keep tapping on the top of the head, all this stress. The beginning of the eyebrow, all this stress. The side of the eye, all this stress. Under the eye, under the pupil of the eye, all this stress. Under the nose, all this stress. On the chin, all this stress. On the collarbone, where the knot of the tie would be, just with the whole palm, all this stress. Under the arm, all this stress. And now take a deep breath. Again, scan your body and notice, is there more tension? And we'll do another round of tapping. And I'm going to say just the physical, the experience in a physical form of what our body is experiencing from the stress. And I'm going just to say, even though I feel really tense and my muscles are having this on the shoulders as if I'm carrying the world, I accept myself anyway. Even though my body is really tense and my muscles are constricted, I accept myself anyway. And just tap through the points, all this tension in my body. Beginning of the eyebrow, all this constriction in my body. All this heaviness on my shoulders. All the tension that I've accumulated lately. It really feels in my body. And it makes me really tense and nervous. On the collarbone, all the tension in my muscles. Under the arm, all the constriction in my chest. And now take another deep breath. Focus your sight towards, as if you're doing a scan of your body. And notice whether it is the same as it was before. And you can type in the chat. And this is how we do the tapping. I usually, thank you very much. It feels lighter. We are now going to focus on our tapping for the abundance. And I know that people may not allow themselves to even to think about abundance. I know this from the people who came to me, who bought my book in Bulgaria, who were very honest, and they were saying, I bought 3 copies of your book simply because I had difficulty with abundance. It was not allowed for me, or money was something that I didn't even think that I can talk about. So many people may have abundance in some aspect in their life, but they're not happy with the abundance in some other areas in their life. So when we talk about abundance, this is because we don't have it as much as we want, or it's not in the area that we want, or we don't have it now. So I want you to think these 2 questions and be honest when you answer them. Just say, it's safe to be abundant. It's safe to have abundance. And notice how true this feels. And the other thing is, and say it again, I deserve it. And notice how true this feels. Do you really deserve it? And because from the beginning, when we started, we discussed that if we don't think it is possible for us to have it, or if it is not natural, or if we don't deserve it, or it will not happen effortlessly for us. It will happen after we invest 200% of us, and the abundance will only drop bit by bit. So what I'm asking you is, write the number down. If you don't feel safe, in other words, it's safe to have it. It is true if it is a 10. 10 is, I really feel safe to have it. And 10, I deserve it. And if it is not that true, just the first number that comes to mind, write it down. And we'll just accept the reality. And usually I've noticed that people are most worried about money. So I would be focusing more on material abundance, simply because very often people will not allow themselves to think about money or to ask for money. Let me give you an example with one of my students. She had a work that she loved, and she was working on the class, on the workshop. She was there for more free time and for more fun time, for more rest. And I said, well, if you earn more, would you be able to have more free time? And she said, yes. If you had more money, would you be able to have more rest or more fun time or to travel? And she said, yes, 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 all the time. So I made her focus on what would it be if she focused on having more material abundance in her life, if she maybe earned higher, or because she loved her work, but she wasn't well paid or not paid enough. So this is what we focus on the negative when we do the tapping, because this is the uniqueness about EFT. We focus on the negative and we raise it. So I want you to think about something that you desire, or maybe in money terms, when you think about money, how do you feel? Do you feel any worry, any tension, any constriction? And we are going to, believe me, even very successful and very abundant people, even they have their problems when it comes to abundance. When it comes to money, it's never enough. So allow yourself to honestly notice how you feel when it comes to money. And we are going to tap on this. And this is how we are going to do it. And we'll accept that money causes anxiety or worry or tension or constriction, or we are counting the every penny, and we are fed up with poverty thinking, right? So we do start the tapping on the side of the hand, admitting how we feel, even though just the thought of money makes me cringe. I accept all of me right here, right now. Even though I'm thinking about money and I think about bills, payments, inflation, and that stresses me out, I accept all of my feelings. Even though when I think about money, I really feel anxious and I feel the tension in my body. My mind is racing up and sometimes I even panic. I accept the way I feel and I know I'm safe now, right here, right now at home. And just tap. And if you don't know, you have to just follow me and follow my tapping and say the same word. Okay, money worries me. Beginning of the eyebrow, and I feel the tension when I think I have to pay my bills. Side of the eyes, and money's never enough. Under the eyes, and I'm really worried about money. Under the nose, and I always have too many things going out of my bank account, having to pay too many things. On the chin, and too little coming into my bank account. On the collarbone, so what abundance are we talking about? Under the arm, is there abundance at all? On the top of the head, all I see is inflation. The beginning of eyebrows, and probably some people have lost their jobs. Side of the eye, money goes to rich people. Under the eye, money doesn't come to people like us. Under the nose, abundance not possible for me. On the chin, and I feel so much stress when I'm thinking about it. On the collarbone, I have mortgage and loans to repay. Under the arm, and I have to think of every penny that I spend. And at top of the head, and honestly, I'm tired of this poverty thinking. Beginning of the eyebrow, and I'm tired of counting every penny. Side of the eye, and I'm tired of austerity, which is the mother of misery. I don't think under the eye, I don't think abundance will ever come to me. I have all this frustration. I put 200% of me, and money responds only a bit below 100. On the collarbone, and I'm not good with money. Under the arm, and I'm so anxious when it comes to money. And even notice the tension, the physical sensations that you feel in your body, and just tap all this tension. All the worry not in my stomach. all this constriction in my chest, all this tension in my muscles. It's all anxiety and worry. So much stress. So many relationships broken because of money. Or the lack of it. Now, take a deep breath. And notice how you feel. I know it's an intense tapping, but we really must go through it. Otherwise, if we don't ventilate the way we feel about abundance, about how impossible it is, how stressed we may feel when it comes to abundance, we're not going to allow it in our life. We won't even think that it's possible to come our way. While you probably remember Bob Proctor, if you have seen the movie The Secret, he was one of them, one of the experts who talk on abundance. And he was saying that money goes where it is invited and it stays where it's loved. And I had another mentor of mine. She was saying, if you were lovers with money, will you be still having sex? I know that this sounds funny, but just think about it. Just allow yourself to think. The next tapping, the next round of tapping that we are going to do will focus on this innate loyalty that we have towards our ancestors, about the poverty they have experienced, about the hardship that they went through. For example, I had a student, she received inheritance after her father died. But every time she tried to spend it, she was bursting out in tears, and her husband was absolutely annoyed. And she raised this issue during the workshop. And she said, well, I can't spend this money. My dad earned this with blood, sweat, and tears, and now I'm going to waste it on a fun? No way. I feel so guilty. So we did some tapping. We did some rounds of tapping. And even before we finished the rounds of tapping, she had a big smile on her face. And she was saying, I know where it's going. It's all fine. So many, as I mentioned, for other people, it could be that they had seen how difficult it was in their parents' or grandparents' lives to earn money. Maybe you had, for example, this is the story in my family. Some of my ancestors were orphaned during the First World War. And when you lose a parent, there is less opportunities, there is more poverty. So it may relate to you, but also in my home country, Bulgaria, some people were made to leave their homes because of the wars, and they had to leave everything behind, leave their houses, their homes, their life, material life. A lot of material assets were left behind, and they were running for their lives with small babies in their hands. So it could be really the stories that we remember from our parents, the images that we have. So what we are going to do now is we are going to honor the hardship. Or if for example, if your family members had lost a huge amount of money and you feel sort of loyal to that loss, and remember how sad that made them, you would feel loyal, and we are going to address this. And always notice how you feel, and the true emotion, that's your subjective reality. So be as much open to notice how you feel when we do the tapping. And we'll start on the side of the hand saying, even though my ancestors didn't grow up in abundance, didn't have abundance, but had to toil hard, I love them and they loved me. Even though my ancestors struggled with scarcity and poverty, I honor everything they went through. Even though my ancestors may have been persecuted for the wealth or had been killed for the money, I accept and honor all the feelings that my family had experienced. And just keep tapping on the top of the head. It's so, so sad that they had been through all this hardship. Beginning of the eyebrow, and I remember these stories of poverty, of struggle, of scarcity. Side of the eye, and I know how difficult it was for them. Under the eyes, and I remember how they struggled to have food on the table or shoes or clothes. And sometimes I got bothered by their constant nagging when I wanted something as a kid. And they were telling me, this is what it is for people like us. On the collarbone, and I learned that this is how we work for our money. Under the arm, and I know that it is hard for people like us. On the top of the head, and I feel compelled to go through the same hardship. Because this is how I've seen it. Because I still remember how hard it was for them. Because I feel sad for them. And I remember how difficult it was for them to repay the money to earn everyday living. I can't allow myself to live more abundant life if they have to suffer. If my parents see me how I live, they'll probably say, you're squandering money. If I tell them how much I earn, they will think I'm a criminal. Or they will think that I'm cheating or lying. They may even tell me off or scold me or even envy me if I earn that much. It's not safe to have a lot of money in our family. This is how I learned it to be for people like us. But I now wonder how my ancestors would respond if I were to be abundant and happy. I wonder whether they would be happy if they see me happy. I even wonder whether they would be proud if they see me abundant. I wonder whether they would be beaming with excitement because they see their beloved child so happy and abundant. And I want you now to stop tapping, or maybe tap on the karate chop on the side of the hand, and close your eyes and remember your ancestors, maybe your beloved granny or grandpa. And imagine what would it be if they see you where you are. If they see you in your living room, invite them in your living room. Show them your probably huge plasma TV or leather settee. Show them how abundant your fridge is, full of food. How many pieces of cutlery and plates you've got, while they may have very little. Even imagine taking them to one of the supermarkets that you go on every month or every week, whichever applies to you. And notice how they respond. Notice how they react to the abundance. Because our supermarkets are absolutely abundant, full to the brim. They haven't seen anything of the kind. And now imagine how they will look at you and what would they say to you? And you shut up and listen. And when this feels complete, just take a deep breath and come back to me. And you may share with me how it was for you, or we may focus on the next one because there is more, and probably the most important thing to tap on is the worthy and deserving. And for this tapping, I want you to think about a desire that you have, maybe the next thing that you want to buy, or something that you want to be or go or reach, but it is absolutely not possible for you. And I want you to think, how deserving do you feel? Is it 10 or is it very low? And believe me, I have some very, very successful people working with me saying, oh, of course I have to keep on doing. It's expected from me. I have to do more. And they feel inadequate unless they really work until even after midnight. So I want you to notice this worthy and deserving, how it is for you when you think about your desire. And let's do a little tapping on this. Even though this will never happen for me, it's too much. It's impossible. What have I been thinking joining this class about tapping for abundance? I accept all of my feelings, even though to ask for abundance is too much. And I'll probably never deserve it. I accept all of me anyway. And just let's tap. I don't think I deserve this. I can't possibly have it. I know the people who have this, and they have done much more than me. And I can't possibly reach them even if I don't sleep and work constantly. It's too much, and I haven't done enough. I'll probably need a lifetime to accomplish it. I have no chance. And I know I'm not good enough. I haven't done enough. There is no way I can accomplish what they have accomplished. And I never finish the things that I must. I always fail. I even fail myself. It requires too much work. That's why I can never have it. And when I'm thinking about it, I almost give up. And when I think about abundance, I'll probably have to give it up. Because I know it doesn't happen for people like us. And now I would like to think about all the doubts that you may be having and just voice them. And we'll admit that why, for example, we didn't have abundance so far. And how long am I going to wait for it? You know, all these doubts, we will voice them. And we'll even skip tapping on the karate chop. We'll just go through the points, tap consecutively all the points like I do. Abundance doesn't exist. I'll waste my time tapping for it. It will never come for me. It goes only to people who already have it. Why I don't have it so far? If it is that easy, ask and you will receive. Why I haven't received it yet? Maybe I should give up. Maybe I should settle and ask less. Because abundance doesn't exist for me. Or if it comes, it's at a very high cost. Or if I want it, I may get disappointed when I don't get it. I don't want to have my hopes up and then be sad when it doesn't happen. I don't want to get disappointed again. And I feel sort of scared to ask for it. I don't dare even to admit that I want it. And I wonder whether it's possible at all to come my way. If it is not going to happen, I'm going to waste my time waiting for it. Why should I? And I want you just to continue tapping and say, but I still want it. And think about your desire. And notice how you feel when you say, yes, I still want it. And part of me would feel really happy when I get it. Gosh, all of me will feel happy if I live abundantly. On the collarbone, and I would feel very, very happy if I live an abundant life. Under the arm, and I would be really, really happy to accept abundance in plenty. Maybe it is time that I allow or suspend my disbelief for a bit. What if my doubts just stop for a few minutes? What if it is safe to be abundant? What if it is safe to have a lot? What if it is safe to have money? What if it is safe to be rich? What if it is safe to be rich and to share my abundance with other people? What if it is safe to be rich, loved, joyful, happy? I can picture myself being happy, and it would be really lovely. I can picture myself receiving abundance and saying, thank you. I really feel ready to accept abundance and say yes to it, because it would feel so nice. And take another deep breath and say, this can be wonderful. If I set my intention to allow more abundance, how wonderful it would feel. I allow my mind to open to all the possibilities and all the opportunities that may come, maybe even tomorrow. I open my mind to allow more abundance, more love, more gratitude, more appreciation for everything that I already have. I know that the more gratitude and appreciation I have, the more abundant I am. And it is so wonderful to say yes to abundance. I say yes to abundance. And I'm ready to receive it now. I say yes to abundance. And now take a deep breath and come back to me. And I want you now to notice how you feel. And remember those two questions that we asked at the beginning. I asked you to rate at the beginning. I'm safe to be abundant, and I deserve it. And tell me, how safe do you feel now to have abundance, and how much do you deserve it? And I'm going to switch to... Did you enjoy the tapping? I see that someone had written, yes, it is safe. Oh, yes. Amazing experience. Thank you. Feels wonderful. Butterflies of excitement. Yes to abundance now. Safe. 8 out of 10 and deserve 8 out of 10. Few points up. Congratulations. And it will keep, particularly if you keep readjusting your RAS, the reticular activating system. Excellent, very safe. I deserve it 100%. Thank you so much, guys. Did you enjoy the tapping? I enjoyed it tremendously. You see, that's why I'm so enthusiastic to share my love for EFT, because it opens new world. And of course, I'm going to offer you to join me for my next seminar. It's a workshop which is focused on activation abundance and activating your reticular activation system and allowing more abundance, more freedom, more money, maybe more love, or whatever you imagine. And for people who join me today in the next 24 hours, I'm offering 30% off, which is making this 3-week course, 3-week workshop, is £97. And with the 30% off, it will be 65, slightly less than 65. And for 3 weeks, we are going to practice EFT. It is a workshop. We are going to implement a model. It's a system that I use, which is based on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, for clarifying your big desire so that we can focus on achieving it. And usually the people report amazing results after this. So you're very welcome to write to me and ask, just write code to my email. And I can give you the link. I suppose it will stay in the chat. Just type to me, write to me. I want the discount code, and I'm going to send it to you. And you're very welcome to join me for this. And we will do some deliberate attraction and use EFT to allow more abundance. Thank you very much for tapping with me. I hope you enjoyed the tapping. You showed me EFT in a completely different light. I know I tap very differently for everyone compared to other people. Thank you very much for sharing this with me. You're very welcome to continue the work using EFT on my workshops.